of the show for today. The guest is Coach RReed from Tennessee State University. Coach, before we had our first commercial break, we were talking about you coming to Tennessee State University, and from what I understand, you first came to Tennessee State University as an employer in 2003. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, well, so let's pick it up at that point in dealing with football and those experiences for the rest of this particular segment.
Okay, well, in coming to Tennessee State in 2003, it presented somewhat of a challenge to me. After kind of building the program down there from the ground up at East Texas Baptist, we're talking about a program that was started in 2000, and when I left to come here in 2003, that program made it to the national semifinals in Division III, and it was one game away from playing for a national championship. And it was a pretty rough decision, but I knew where my heart was. I knew where I always wanted to be, at Tennessee State University. And Coach James Reese was gracious enough to give me an opportunity to come here and be the defensive coordinator. And it was a really, really daunting task, I thought, but when I got here and I saw the athletes that we had, I realized that, hey, this could be something special. And upon coming to Tennessee State, you know, we were ranked probably 7th or 8th in the conference in total defense when I took over in 2003. Well, and in that year, 2003 season, we finished #1 in total defense for the first time in the school's history in the OVC at Tennessee State University. So real proud of that accomplishment. And in 2004, you know, we went into that season. We started out great, 3-0. We were hit with a barrage of injuries, and we lost, I think, a stretch of 6 games going down the stretch, and it resulted in Coach Reese being fired and Coach Webster coming on in 2005. And I was retained on the staff in 2005. And I think due to I feel like I'm a pretty good football coach, and I know that the recruiting aspect had a lot to do with it, bringing guys like Javaris Williams and Dominic Rogers-Camardi, Lamar Divins, and those guys to the table helped me greatly in being able to be retained on staff. And I've always been a relationship guy, and I think that I've built a bunch of relationships here at Tennessee State University, not only on campus, but out in the community. And I think that that's important for any coach to have those kind of relationships in the community as well as on campus. And so we continued to coach here, and I was coaching the outside linebackers, and you know, Coach Webster brought a couple of guys in and wasn't satisfied with them. And then in 2008, I believe he elevated me back to defensive coordinator. And at that point, we proceeded to finish the season with I think, an 8-4 record, and we had the #1 defense in the conference again for only the 2nd time in the school's history. And then last year we finished #3 in the overall defense, but we were #1 in the OVC in just conference stats. So that's been pretty good accomplishments for us as a defensive staff here. And obviously, Coach Webster resigned at the end of this season, and on December the 24th of this year, I was named head football coach at Tennessee State University, 21st head coach, and I'm pretty proud of that accomplishment. I think that what you're getting in a head coach is going to be a guy that's going to be open to the community. You're going to get a guy that's going to be dedicated to his craft. You're going to get a guy that wants to build a cohesive staff that has ownership in Tennessee State University. And I think that we're trying to address all of those issues as well as recruiting at this point.
And so you're really ready to get down to recruiting. And so you've always had almost an ace in terms of recruitment. That's been one of your strong suits, has it not been?
Well, that's what they say. I think that
How
is
important is recruitment really, and what is the kind of competition
I think
that you run into when you get out to recruit? You know, something like that. Give us some information in reference to that. You going after an individual. I mean, what are some of the things that you have to do?
I think it's really important. I mean, recruiting is your lifeline in college football. You know, you can't take a donkey to the Kentucky Derby and expect to win. You know, you got to get some thoroughbreds. So it's our charge to get out and try to find the best athletes in the state of Tennessee first. And then we branch out in the states of Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Kentucky, Missouri, So we're pretty regional with it, and we're going to try to branch out in Texas a little bit, because in the past some of our better football players have been from Texas, in the Florida area. We get great prospects from the state of Tennessee, don't get me wrong, but you know, we're fighting a real battle in the state of Tennessee with Memphis, Tennessee, MTSU, and you still have Tennessee Tech, Tennessee Martin, and Austin Peay in the state that we're competing against for athletes, and not a very big state when it comes to football. So we do get out in those football states and try to saturate those areas to be able to bring in quality athletes for our program.
And so you've already been out recruiting, and you've got some information in reference to some of the things, prospects that you have, and et cetera, that you'd like to reveal to us.
Well, it's NCAA violation for me to name names, but we are on some of the top prospects in the state of Tennessee, in the state of Florida, in the state of Alabama, in the state of Georgia. So we are out there, and also in the state of Missouri. We are out there trying to do what we can with actually limited numbers right now, because we're in the process of putting together a staff also. So the guys that we have on staff right now have done a real diligent job of getting out and trying to saturate these areas and trying to find the best talent possible.
And so you've got a fairly good relationship with some of the members of the current Tennessee State University football team. Is that what you're saying?
What do you mean by?
I mean, you know, I mean that you've worked with them before, with many of them.
Oh, the players.
Players. That's what I'm saying.
You know, and you know, when a lot of coaches come in, they say, "Well, I'm playing with somebody else's players. I got to get my players in." These are our players.
That's what I'm saying. So these are individuals that you've had an opportunity to help bring forth.
Absolutely, absolutely. So these are our players. They're all Tennessee State University football players. And we're going to treat it as such. All we're doing now is adding to the pot when we go out and recruit these other athletes. Every athlete we have on our team right now is important to us. We need all of them to win. And we're definitely excited about the opportunity to have this chance to prove to the Tennessee State University family that we can put a competitive product on the market, and for them to be able to come out and feel proud about what they see on Saturday.
Well, and I think people are anxious to have that kind of relationship with the football program at Tennessee State University. And of course, we're getting ready for our second commercial break, Coach Reed. And then when we come back, we'll give you an opportunity to develop some of the other things that you consider to be challenges in the job that you have now assumed, okay? And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very short commercial break.